Sweden, what's going on? Graham is here. St. Louis, Missouri. Just coming on for a few minutes. 7 o'clock tonight. Julio Studio. All right. Wake up call. Good to have you here. If we're going to do a live, it's time for an AeroPress. Hey, well, I'm actually not going to go live until about 7 o'clock. Pavel, how are you? Canada. Uh, in about 50 minutes, I'm going to have a live interview with Jon Fitch, the UFC champion. He's probably one of the top fighters in the world today. And I'm going to be talking to him. He's 42 years old and he just retired. I believe he had over 20 years in the ring, UFC, all kinds of martial arts, Bellator. The guy was into everything. Absolute champion. Fought every big name. Has a super record. Well, last week Jon Fitch retired. He retired, 42 years old. What does a guy do after he retires from a career of fighting? That's what we're going to talk to Jon about. And we're going to pick his brain as to what's next for him. You know, football players are old when they get to what, 30, 32? What about UFC fighters? Talk about getting hit, right? If you've watched any of the MMA type of fights, octagon fights, you've seen some pretty rough savagery out there. And Jon Fitch is a guy that I met about a year ago and have followed each other, and I asked him to be on the show tonight. So he's going to be on at 7 o'clock, which is about 50 minutes from now. And so we're going to end this in a few minutes here, but I just want to say hi. But he's going to come on tonight at 7 o'clock here. I want you to get ready. We're going to talk about everything from his fighting career to getting into shape to how do you cut down the way that he does. He's what, 6 foot and 170 pounds, very little fat, all muscle, fast, strong. He's a bright guy. Used his hands and his feet, I guess, and his head too at one point. So he's going to be joining us in about 50 minutes. I'm going to go off the air in a little bit, but I want you to come back at 7 o'clock Eastern time in 50 minutes and watch my conversation with Jon Fitch. It's going to be really good. And if you have any special questions for Jon, just think about what you want to ask him. I'm going to be talking to him about what's next in his career. What do you do when you are a world champion fighter? What do you do when it's time to hang up the gloves? Where do you go? Do you do coaching? How do you even begin to pick what road to go down? You're not as spry as you used to be. A lot of fighters at 42 years old call themselves old men. Imagine that. Actually, I'm surprised that he was still in the ring at his age. So we're going to talk about that. How were the last 5 years for Jon Fitch? That's what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to see you all in about 45 minutes, right back here. I'm going to end this broadcast, but I just want to give a quick little shout that I'm going to be back on the air at 7 o'clock Eastern time with world champion fighter Jon Fitch. Lessons for everybody. What can you learn from a fighter who's won every title that you could possibly ever want, who's gone to the top in this field? And now he has to go somewhere else. He made that decision about a week ago that he's going to retire. We're going to talk to him about his sports, his personal life. We're going to talk about getting into shape. We're going to talk about his podcast. And I really think you're going to like it. So I'll see you back here at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks.